What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude, and let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous propaganda. Okay, almost choked, but that's not important. Because what is important is this government representative from Russia, Mr. Zhuravlev, who is already being extremely ridiculous and controversial and all this kind of stuff. So he basically gave recently a small interview. He basically said that whenever he was young, the top priorities for people of USSR, of Soviet Union at that time, was to defend the motherland, relatives and friends, your own internal values and moral principles, and then your own life. And so, because of this, he is very confused, he is very outraged why right now these current people, my generation, millennials, why the only thing they think about is their own lives. He's like, how's this possible that the most important thing in every person's life right now is their own life? I have absolutely no idea. People should go and defend the motherland. This should be the top priority. And yes, you guessed it. This guy is not in Ukraine, his kids, friends and relatives are not in Ukraine, so he is controversial, he is basically, you see, I'm speechless, I have no idea how to comment ridiculous Russian propaganda from time to time, and this is one of these cases, guys. Let me know down below in the comments what do you think about this guy. But okay, it is time to get serious as much as it's possible, and now let's talk about the Shoigu's deputy literally being arrested, which basically means that Putin's inner circle is falling apart every single day, and the process at this point is inevitable. Then I'm gonna talk about the biggest support of America to Ukraine, which now allows them to target the entire Crimean peninsula, and finally we're gonna talk about the desertion of the Russian army, which started not that long time ago. And so yeah, speaking about this guy, the Deputy Minister of Defense of Russia, literally the deputy of Shoigu himself, and this guy's name is Timur Ivanov. He was recently detained on taking bribes charges, and now he is facing up to 15 years in prison. The bribe is estimated to be at approximately 1 billion rubles, which is approximately like $500 to $600. No, I'm kidding. It's approximately $10 million if my math is correct. But, like, he is a part of Putin's inner circle, this is without a doubt. And all of those people, they became wealthy through the very same methods. So, charging him with bribery, it is just an excuse for something which goes much worse, goes much deeper inside. And a lot of people estimate and assume that the actual charges which might be brought up later, depending on the situation inside country, that the actual charges are of a high treason. This is a much more severe punishment, especially for such a high-ranking official. So, like I said, yeah, once again, to begin with, they only decided to prosecute him on bribery. And even though this guy is literally the Deputy Minister of Defense of Russia, which is like, you can even say it like the third person in the entire Russia and like second person in the Russian military. Guess what? His son is studying in England, his daughter lives in France, they're living a lavish lifestyle, going on vacations abroad, not spending much time in Russia itself, obviously. So, like, well, you see the hypocrisy of the Russian elite. Like, literally, it is right there. And so yes, obviously one of the most awaited reaction was from Sergei Shoigu himself, who at this point, quote-unquote, fired Timur Ivanov and said that I have nothing to do with this guy. I barely knew him. I mean, so what that he was my Deputy Minister of Defense, like, we didn't do much stuff together. And since this guy is detained now, he obviously knows way too much, so it is very hard to envy Timur Ivanov at this very moment. And also, let's not forget all these top managers of Russian government corporations, Gazprom, Lukoil, all this kind of stuff, who were drinking Russian tea in the past or standing too close to open windows, and you already know what happened with them. So yeah, as you can see, the Putin's inner circle is shrinking way too fast. It is now fewer and fewer people that Putin can trust, which is the most important thing if you're clinging to power as hard as Putin does. And the question is, will this be a problem in the future? The answer is most certainly. Because I mean, this is how karma works. You cannot do indefinitely bad stuff and expect that nothing happens to you. I'm speaking about Putin right now, so guys, if you do agree with this, that there will be some problems arising for Putin in the future because of those things, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel? I will take a look at the statistics, and also this helps a lot with YouTube shadow banning my channel, because the algorithm is just a little bit helping us once again to appear in front of new people. Guys, thank you so much for liking and subscribing to my channel. Don't forget about my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, where in today's video I will be talking about a new signal of 153% growth, which is forming right now on the stock market. I will talk about Bitcoin also going up a little bit and the reasons why this is happening, and how Tesla was able to solve one of its biggest problems. The link to my second channel is down below. And so yes, right now let's talk about one of the biggest support packages to Ukraine from America, which already been signed by President Joe Biden, and how this will allow Ukrainians to take the entire Crimean Peninsula in fire range. And so yes, the package I'm talking about, which we already discussed in the previous video, is the $61 billion support package, which was already approved by Senate and even signed by Joe Biden. It is even expected that one of its parts, worth of $1 billion, will be sent to Ukraine literally within days, because all the related equipment, machinery, everything inside this $1 billion part of the support package is located in Germany and in Poland, which is extremely close to Ukrainian borders, which will be once again transporting right now. Maybe by the time this video goes live, this will already reach Ukrainian territory. And right here to my left side, you can see what is exactly included in this $1 billion part. Feel free to pause the video if you want to see, if you want to read and get more details. Besides that, it is also assumed that long-range ATACMS with the range of 300 kilometers will also be included in this package, though it might not be phrased exactly like this. It might be phrased something as additional munition for HIMARS. Zelensky himself also confirmed that this long-range ATACMS is coming. And as you can see from this map, this will literally allow Ukrainians to put the entire Crimean Peninsula and even lots of bordering territories to Ukraine on the territory of Russia under fire control, so they will be able to reach any single military-related target they want, wherever it is located. This will be a huge game changer for Ukrainians. The very first tranche of $1 billion, once again, most likely will arrive within the next 24 to 48 hours, so we might see some huge changes along the front lines very soon. And you know what? It can actually still get even worse for the Z army. What I'm talking about is that there are recorded events of the total desertion of some of the Z soldiers. Obviously, whenever something like this happens, Russian propaganda will do everything possible to hide those events, to hide those facts. They do not want to talk about desertion and cowardice on the state federal channels, because they want to show that the Z army is on the right side of the history, that those men are heroes fighting and they actually volunteer to go to Ukraine. So once again, they want to hide this truth. So whenever this information goes already to the Western media sources, such as for example this report by the British intelligence, it means that in reality the picture is much bigger. The desertion is in much bigger quantities. There are way more people doing this, not just few thousand reported by the British intelligence. And specifically what they mention is that since the beginning of this partial mobilization back in September 22, there was 684 people who were prosecuted for desertion and high treason out of 7,400 cases or events which did take place. And obviously the highest number was whenever this actual partial mobilization happened. 496 Z soldiers voluntarily left their military bases to never return. The majority of these Russian men who were forcefully conscripted during this so-called partial mobilization back in September and who were able to escape, some of them were caught and they were brought back to their military bases. Most likely it was not without consequences, most likely they were sent straight to the very first front lines, with obviously very low chances of making it, so that they cannot tell their story to the media. But the main fact remains the same. There is desertion within the Z army, and these are just, I'm almost certain, very few numbers of what are able to make it to the media. I'm sure there are 10 times more cases like this which you never heard about. But it does not end here, because Ukrainians were also able to attack extremely rare, literally one of a kind, Russian vessel in the Black Sea. So let's talk about this right now, and I'm also gonna give you an update from the front lines. But guys, I decided to give this once again extra chapter for my Patreons as a thank you for your continuous support, because thanks to you the Russian dude keeps going. So if you want to see this extra chapter, please go ahead and check my Patreon, the link is down below, and every single photo and video will be fully uncensored. This is the best way to support the channel right now due to ongoing almost full demonetization from YouTube. I don't make as much money as I used to, so guys, for this I thank you so much. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you found this information useful. Don't forget about my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, and all the other useful links can be found down below. Thank you guys so much for your support, and see you tomorrow.